Welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa, Club 2500, District 6110. In our time-honored tradition, we're going to introduce our visitors today, our visiting guests with their host Rotarian, and then our visiting Rotarians. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Linda Bradshaw will be doing a memorial resolution for Stanley Hawkins today, and we are fortunate to have with us Marcia Hawkins. Accompanying her is Dot Kelley, Jim Kelly's wife, also Ann Gibbs, Richard Gibbs' wife, and also Ruthie Wildman, the widow of our Rotarian Les Wildman. Would you give them a big hand, please? Today we have host Rotarian Harold Calhoun with guest Isaac Helmrich, grandson. We have Dawn Blackburn with Barbara Blackburn, his wife. Dawn Blackburn also has Samantha Wyrich Davis. Stephen Mason has guest Glenn Zanotti with the OSU Foundation. John Rothrock has with him Emily Pop, of course, Yale Cleaners. Chief Chuck Jordan has with him Officer Darrell Webster, who will be joining next week. Jane Carlson has Susan Kenny Montereau, and then Luann Bollinger has Nicole Ganchar, who is another joiner soon to be coming in. Please welcome all of our Rotarians and their guests. Now, after I announce the visiting Rotarians, let's have a big hi in their first name. We first have from the Sunrise Club, Tom Clark, our past district governor. We have from the Southside Rotary, Jessica Cox. We also have from the Southside Rotary, Jonathan Cox. From Sunrise Rotary, we have Kim Jones. From Will Rogers, we have Phil Reeton. Right, Phil? Keaton. You know, I swear to you, if I could blow it up on the screen, and I will pay a fine. It's not this I can't see, it's this. Thank you, President Kieran. Let's do that one more time. Will Rogers Club, Phil Keaton. Hi, Phil. And then last from the Sunrise Club, the Honorable Kurt Glasgow, a district judge here in Tulsa County. Hi, Kurt. Welcome. Thank you. Please come again. We love to have you.
Thank you very much, John. Our Rotary sponsors this week are Mike Fine, Fine Airport Parking, Gail Fair Tucker, Property Client Services, Eric Ortega and John Raines, Astral Inc., Bob Parker, Robert E. Parker Attorney. And we encourage you to do business with your fellow Rotarians. And please, let's thank today's sponsors and all of our volunteers. And a former district governor, a new member of our club, Pedro, would you stand up? Pedro says, when you leave today, try to look at his vest. He's been to every one of those places. They're pins from other clubs, and so check that out. It's really impressive. Thank you, Pedro. And Southside, I think you had a Lobster Fest. Did you have Lobster Fest? How was it? Oh, I thought. Excuse me. Okay, some other club had Lobster Fest last week, and I don't know which one, so forgive me. All right. Committee meetings today. Club Foundation Grants, room 232. And in announcements, copies of the proposed 2013-14 Rotary Club of Tulsa operating budget are on your tables. A vote of the membership will be next week, August 28th. In the meantime, if you have questions about the budget, see Budget Chair Monty Curry. And Monty, where are you? Monty will help you with it. He's way back in the back, but you can get a hold of him and he'll answer any questions you may have. And you can take that to bed if you're having issues with insomnia. It will help you. Remember, tomorrow evening, August 22nd, is our first social event of the year at Circle Cinema, 20 feet from Stardom, 6:30 happy hour, and 7:30 showtime. And Marty, look for the red hair. There she is. We already have 50 signed up, but there's room for more. So that's going to be a real hoot. So try to make it to Circle Cinema tomorrow night. Terry Heritage is still collecting contributions to our Adopt a Class fundraiser. The goal is to provide 2 $100 gift cards for each Celia Clinton elementary teacher. And Terry, I have not helped out this year, and I always do, so get my attention. And now, Past President Linda Bradshaw, if you could come forward, we have a memorial resolution for Past President Stanley Hawkins.
As I walked across the church parking lot under a gigantic American flag, I was flooded with memories and emotions as I knew this service would be a memorable salute to one of Tulsa's legacy leaders. Not even aware that this photo had been captured by President Karen, I knew that I was going to be sharing the day with many Rotarians who would come to pay their respects. Tulsa firemen do have a way of saying goodbye to their own, and on cue, everything would be in place. Stanley, as he was known to us, joined the Rotary Club of Tulsa on November the 16th, 1964. He was a Club Foundation Fellow, MSNI Ambassador, a Paul Harris Fellow, and a past president serving from 1984 to 85. His membership in the Rotary Club of Tulsa was nearing 50 years when he passed away just 8 days after his 92nd birthday. On July the 3rd, his celebration of life would be held with family and friends at First Christian Church, where he was a member. He would be escorted by the fire department with honor guard ceremonies to the Memorial Park Cemetery. He would be born at home in Collinsville to his parents, Nanny Lou and Harvey Hawkins, and would share their love with his only brother, Tommy. Stanley was proud of his alma mater, Daniel Webster High School, and was a member of the first graduating class in 1939. He served as senior class president and the president of Student Council, and in 1990, he would be inducted into its Hall of Fame. During the war, Stanley joined the Navy and served on 2 different destroyers as a torpedo man first class, the USS Fahrenholt and the USS Isherwood. Both destroyers were damaged by the Japanese during combat. Stanley would receive an honorable discharge from service in 1945. He joined the Tulsa Fire Department and served 37 years, with 21 of those years as the chief. His accomplishments during these years have been lauded by his peers as being one of Tulsa's most capable, efficient, and dedicated employees, a leader and mentor to many. He served as president of the International Association of Fire Chiefs in 1981-82, a position that afforded him the opportunity to visit other countries. Following his retirement from the fire department, he owned and operated an arson hazardous materials company. He worked for former Governor David Walters, and he managed the Tulsa office of CompSource, Oklahoma. He would retire reluctantly in 2001 at the age of 80. In addition to his membership in the Rotary Club of Tulsa, he was a member of the American Legion, Actar Shrine, VFR, and the Royal Order of Jesters. He is survived by his loving wife, Marcia, his stepdaughter, Janet Rogers, his 2 grandchildren, Denise Weber and Racy Hawkins, and 3 great-grandchildren. Stanley was an ordinary and simple gentleman whose life exemplified extraordinary accomplishments. Will Rogers would once say, "You must judge a man's greatness by how much he will be missed." Therefore, be it resolved that the Rotary Club of Tulsa extends our sympathy to Stanley's wife, family, and to his many friends. And on behalf of the club, I would ask that members please stand, vote this resolution approval, and share a moment of silence.
Linda, thank you. Great job. And we all miss Stanley. And Marcia, thank you so much. Would Paul Harris Fellow recipients please begin making their way to the stage? And while you're doing that, we have a new member to present, and I'm so excited. Roberta Preston, if you would please come join me up here. I would like to introduce you as our newest member. Now, Roberta Preston is a former IBM executive and today works as CEO of Girl Scouts of Eastern Oklahoma. And Roberta is committed to building girls of courage, confidence, and character. In addition to Girl Scouts, Roberta is a mentor to graduate students at TU. She is married to Doug Napier, and they have one son, Preston, who just earned his Eagle Scout status. Roberta is committed to a legacy of service and shares our Rotary values. Please give a warm Rotary welcome to Roberta Preston. And following our meeting, Roberta will be near the badge box and the exit. So be sure to please say hello to her and welcome her to our club. Roberta's going to be great. Okay, Brenda, if you would pass chairman of the board, Brenda Mellencon, and I will be your Carol Merrill or your assistant.
Right.
Okay.
We were thinking Vanna.
Vanna White, okay.
Thank you, President Karen. The Rotary Foundation is one of the largest and most important programs of Rotary. Without the foundation, Rotary could not continue its many humanitarian programs and its effort to promote world understanding, goodwill, and peace. The foundation is a nonprofit organization supported solely by contributions from Rotarians and friends of the foundation who share its vision of a better world. The Paul Harris Society contributions to Rotary support education, improvement in health, and alleviation of poverty that enables Rotarians to bring hope and promote international understanding throughout the world. As Rotarians donate beyond the initial $1,000 contribution, foundation recognition points are generated in their name, and they can donate those to others. Rotarians in our club have graciously donated their recognition points to provide a portion of the initial $1,000 for Rotarians to obtain Paul Harris Fellowship. It gives me great pleasure to present the following Rotarians on behalf of the trustees of the Rotary Foundation a pin, medallion, and certificate as they become Paul Harris Fellows. Paul Baumann, Michael Burks, Don Blackburn, Clayton Johnson, Carl Vincent, today we are also recognizing our fellow Rotarians who are multiple Paul Harris Fellows. They have contributed beyond the $1,000 gift. These contributions were combinations of donations and recognition points. At this time, I would like to recognize the following Rotarians on behalf of the trustees of the Rotary Foundation who have made it to the next level. Kathleen Cohen, Paul Harris Fellow, +1. Jamie Love, Paul Harris Fellow, +1. David Newsom, Paul Harris Fellow, +1. Cal Vogt, Paul Harris Fellow, +1. T.C. Blair, Paul Harris Fellow, +2. Martin Keating, Paul Harris Fellow, +2. Tom Tatro, Paul Harris Fellow, +2. Raymond Batchelor, Paul Harris Fellow, +3. Dick Cantrell, Paul Harris Fellow, +3. Past President Phil Lakin, Paul Harris Fellow, +3. Past President Corey Nickerson, Paul Harris Fellow, +3. Tony Oliva, Paul Harris Fellow, +5. John Stava, Paul Harris Fellow, +8. I know. Ainsley Stanford, Paul Harris Fellow, +1. Please join me in congratulating and recognizing our multiple Paul Harris Fellows. At this time, I would like for all Paul Harris Fellows to stand and be recognized. Thank you.
All right, and project announcements. Tony Oliva Club sponsorship forms are on the table. And Tony, you've got something you want to show us. He's been very busy, and he brought a nice prop with him today that you'll be seeing out in the lobby.
Okay, what we have here is your basic display, and we're looking for ways to bring more value to a sponsorship. And one of the things we've come up with is to allow sponsors of the Rotary Club, and depending on what level you are, where you'll access, but you can bring a business card, put it in here. So if a Rotarian would like to have your services, they have a place where they can go and get your contact information. At different levels, higher levels, you'll be able to put a trifold flyer of your business and a business card. And this will be out by the badge box every week. So when somebody, whether it's in a meeting or whatever, it occurs to them that they could use your service, they, before or after the meeting, will be able to easily get something to take away with them to contact you about your business. But to do that, if you're not already a sponsor, you have to take one of these off your table and fill it out and send it in. Or contact me and we'll be sure we take care of you and get you enrolled as a sponsor. So thank you.
Thank you, Tony. And Casey King, if you would, please tell us about Business Visitation Day.
Just a reminder that on your tables are the green sheets of paper to sign up for Business Visitation Day, October 2nd. Last week we had about 10 to 12 people sign up, so we need more. So we appreciate all the help and look forward to hosting. Thank you.
Thank you. And Desiree Doherty, Community Service Team, Volunteer Opportunity.
Yeah, I bet you didn't think you'd see me up here again this year, did you? But we have an opening in our chair for Community Service Team this year, so tag I'm it for right now. I want to tell you about our first project coming up on Friday, September 6th. If you're in town on September 6th, Friday, September 6th, back up. And if you're an early bird, you will want to join this project. We are going to help our fellow Rotarian, Mark Graham, Tulsa Area United Way, to kick off Day of Caring, 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Before you have to go to your office, you can come out and help us set up and serve breakfast for the thousands of volunteers that are going to be going out to local nonprofits all across this city and helping for a day. It's a great opportunity. We try, there's always a challenge before work, after work, during the day, on Saturday, whatever. This is an early bird opportunity. We need at least 10 volunteers. I have a few already, but if you could see me today, we've got to get a confirmation in place with United Way. If you could let me know or let the office know today if you're available, we'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
And as Desiree said, we do have an opening for a community service team volunteer leader. So if anybody's interested in that, it's really a lot of fun because you organize fun things for us to do that involve the community, like helping at the community food bank and those kinds of things. So if there's anybody out there, I'll make eye contact with somebody out there. Tom? Anyway, all right. Marty Alexander, this is a great opportunity to talk about Marty's skills as she sets up the most incredible trips on the planet.
Oh, thank you.
I know.
Good day, mates. I'm here to invite you to the 2014 Rotary International Convention in Sydney, Australia. It's hard for me to believe that it's been 10 years since 25 of us went to the Brisbane International Convention. I think some of you are in this room. And had a great time. This year's package, or next year's package, will include 5 nights in Sydney at a fabulous hotel, Marriott, that's a stone's throw from the Sydney Opera House and walking distance to the Rocks District. And with easy access to the convention center by public transportation or by the provided transportation that comes with your registration. In addition, the package includes a trip up to the Great Barrier Reef with a trip to the World Heritage Rainforest. And for those really adventuresome, there's going to be a pre-package or a pre-extension to New Zealand that's optional. So it's May departure, so it could either be a week or 2 weeks, and we can also do custom. I will have brochures next week. They're not ready for prime time yet, but please call me for further information. And I think we're going to shoot a video real quick. But
Very
I also
quick,
wanna,
5 seconds,
Okay.
a glimpse. We're just going to tantalize you for a few seconds. Can you see yourself there? I do. I do. I'm on that ferry right now, looking at the bridge, the famous Opera House. Hi, Ron. You two can be there. Just be sure to see Marty. Norm Simon, would you please come on down and tell us about what you've been busy? Yes.
We're giving a grant today to the Sandite Child Development Center, a really unique facility in Sand Springs. And what I think really impressed us so much about it was that they're willing to take on children that are under DHS, where many other centers won't have those kids involved. And to accept our check, which is in the amount of $4,500, this is Cynthia Phillips, a member of the board, and she's going to tell us what they're going to do with the money.
Thank you. First, I just want to thank all of you. We have been so happy to have you all be excited about our agency. And we are going to be putting up sunshades for the kids on the playground and over our sandbox, as well as taking care of some boring stuff, some issues we have with some drainage that we need to get taken care of at the building. So we really, really appreciate it, and we really needed these funds right at this time, so we really, really couldn't be more grateful. Thank you.
And Norm, thank you for everything you do to help me this year. I appreciate you very much. Bob Hunt, come on down and talk to us about Air and Space Museum.
Our guest is a member of a Sunrise Club, and they had the Lobster Fest last week.
Thank you. Had the crowd wrong.
Many of you may well remember when 20 years ago that Rotary folks were very instrumental in getting the Tulsa Air and Space Museum underway with a life. Since that time, a lot has happened out there, but the museum has not asked Rotary for any further help since that moment until now. They've made a grant request, and it's been approved in the amount of $7,000. And with me today is Kim Jones. Now, Kim, you may not know historically, but he was the first employee of the Air and Space Museum. Today, he is a deputy director and a curator of the museum, and he's going to tell us what they're going to do with this money.
Thank you. Yeah, 20 years ago was a long time, and strangely enough, we tapped Rotary to provide computers for our beginning museum that had flight simulators on it for the kids, as well as our staff computers. Well, with this money, we will be replacing some of those self-same computers. We've been working with, I think we got our good out of them. And
Oh my.
This will provide 15 flight simulators, computerized flight simulators for the kids, as well as selected staff computers, and we really do appreciate it. It was much needed. Thank you very much.
Thank you and congratulations. Sergeant at Arms Janet Rockefeller.
Hello, I'll be quick. Okay, the Rotarian that was caught is Phil Lakin, because he's the very first Rotarian to be a cartoon figure. Congratulations, Phil. Okay, the next slide, it's a celebration of baseball, basketball, and football championships. And no, you don't see red, you don't see orange, and you don't see green. These are the Kansas State Wildcats. So congratulations, you can go to the next slide. So Bob and Don both contributed $300 to the Kansas State Wildcats for the historic 3 Big 12 Conference Championships and the Coach of the Year awards won during 2012-2013. So congratulations. It's nice to see purple up there. The next one, and Don also wanted to pay a fine for his birthday, anniversary, and for his son Preston's graduation from George Washington Law School. That's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations to that. And Doug Walker had a birthday, paid $100 for 60, and yeah, it comes and goes, I know. Okay, the next one, I just got this from Tom Clinda. Congratulations, Tom. Look, I know, it's so cool. First granddaughter, Darcy Clinda, 9 pounds, 4 ounces. I hope the mom got jewelry, and paid $94. Thank you, I'll see you next week.
And now for our Rotarian of the Day, Clay Langley. Clay's been a Rotarian since January 2001. He is the clinical director for the Tulsa Boys Home. Clay is a Paul Harris Fellow, a Paul Harris Society member, and past president of the Sand Springs Club, and currently serving as president of the Men of Note. Little known fact about Assistant District Governor, that had to be Jerry. Our Assistant District Governor engaged in a campaign stunt to get his name known and subsequently elected as president of the Student Senate of Seminole Junior College. Clay spent 8 hours in a constant drizzling rain sitting on top of a flagpole 20 feet up in the air. Please welcome a guy with sitting power. Rotarian of the Day, Assistant District Governor Clay Langley.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Rotary Club of Tulsa, for allowing me to be here today to introduce our district governor. I have been given the order, keep it brief. Therefore, I would encourage everyone to learn about our district governor by reading his bio at our district website, www.rotarydistrict6110.org. I started to just say, here's Ken, but I didn't think that was quite adequate, so I wanted to say Ken is a native of Fort Smith, Arkansas. He spent his high school years growing up in Japan, Germany, Kansas, and most importantly, Oklahoma. Ken attended high school and junior college at the Oklahoma Military Academy in Claremore, Oklahoma, 1966 through 69. I'm quite sure that in those days, boys were sent to the military academy for being obstreperous, truculent, scallywags, rapscallions, and general troublemakers. I've not yet found out what Ken did to be sent off to school, but I can tell you that from all indications, the military academy was good for him. Because I can tell you at this time, he is neither, our district governor, is neither a rapscallion or a scallywag or a general troublemaker. It has been my true honor to have the opportunity to know Ken over the past few years. During the time I've spent with him, I found him to be a get-her-done kind of guy. He's a true leader, a leader that leads by example and not by telling others what to do or where to go. He's the kind of guy that is long on recognizing others for their accomplishments while minimizing his own contributions and successes. The Rotary motto, service above self, is not just a motto for Ken, it is his way of living and his personal standard. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our Rotary District Governor for District 6110, year 2013-14, Governor Ken Colley.
Oh, goodness, I tell you, no telling what he was going to read. You give these assistant governors a little bit of power, they come up with all sorts of things. First of all, Karen, thank you for having me today, and Keith, chairman of the board, Donna, staff, Rhonda, and I could not be remiss without saying hi to Trish. She is the Youth Exchange chair, co-chair for our district. Probably the most difficult job that you could possibly have. Being as Tom Clark, who's in the back of the room, I told him no 4 times before I would pick up the phone at my office and he'd be on it. He'd say, Ken, you want to be Youth Exchange chair? I said, no. He was persistent and I did it. I've been real blessed in Rotary because I have been able to do a number of activities. First of all, before I get too far along, past presidents of this club, if you'd either raise your hand, past presidents of this club. Thank you very much. I met with the board this morning. I wrote down some notes to ask them. After an hour and 15 minutes, they had answered all my questions and I hadn't asked a question yet. Outstanding club. Committees, leadership. My only complaint to y'all is that you need more district governors from this club. You have the ladies and the men that are top notch. I saw 3 in the room up there. I wanted to buttonhole them before they got out of the room. Again, that is not a complaint. That is saying that, hey, there's room for you to be district governor. District governor doesn't pave a whole bunch. I get some expenses for mileage, staying in a hotel, laundry, and phone service, and other little items. I'm a real estate appraiser by profession. I'm full-time employed as it is now, with the exception I took 100 days off this year to be district governor. It is awesome to be around so many positive people. I look forward to coming and visiting all the Rotary clubs. You learn something from each one of them. Again, thank you. Past district governors, if you would please stand. Tom Clark, stand up. There we go. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. As Clay was so proud to throw in my history at Oklahoma Military Academy, we have a few cadets here in the room. If you'd stand, please. I know there are a few of them. Fess up. Come on. Okay. Thank you. My story for going to Oklahoma Military Academy is my dad was a career Army officer. My brother had just taken his commission to be a regular Army officer in the infantry. And I figured if I was going to get on board, I needed to get a head start because they had both done very well. My father had fought in Second World War, Korea, and Vietnam. My brother served in Vietnam. And so I knew that I needed a little help. And so I went to Oklahoma Military Academy. It was a fitting time for Ken Colley. My grades weren't too good. Discipline was, if you have an Army officer as a dad, you don't have any trouble with discipline. Anyway, I spent 3.5 years at Oklahoma Military Academy. Upon graduating, I was second in command. I really had the easiest job of the place because the guy who was in front of me didn't want to turn over anything for me to do. So other than being on pass a long time and studying extra, it benefited me greatly. And I appreciate that time I spent in Oklahoma, in Claremore, Oklahoma, at Oklahoma Military Academy. What your club does is awesome. There's so many committees, so many things you do. It is truly unbelievable. Speaking to your board this morning, or them speaking to me, many of the clubs in the district are that size of what your committees were that met with me this morning. That is tremendous. All the new members who are new members to this Rotary Club, I have pins for you, or excuse me, not new members, those of you that sponsored new members. If you sponsored a new member since January, if you'd please stand up. Okay. Without y'all, we would not be and have the membership we do. It is a vital part. After the meeting, I'm going to give Karen a Rotary pin that below it says sponsor because you've taken and sponsored someone. I appreciate it. I've done a lot of things in Rotary, a little bit different than most other district governors. I went through youth exchange, and that's how I got my notoriety one way or the other, and how I became and ran for district governor and got it. And in order to deal with youth, you've got to do a couple of things different. With youth, you need something visual. I'm treating you all as youth. Can everybody see this? Okay. First class. Ron Burton asked all the district governors before we went to training in January, before we ever became district governor, to become part of the first class. That meant that all district governors were to contribute to the foundation before we attended our training for 1 week in San Diego, California. We did that. We became the first class ever that had done that. We contributed, 530 of us contributed a total of $750,000 to the Rotary Foundation. I asked all the presidents of all 82 clubs in Rotary District 6110 to contribute to the foundation and become part of the first class. I'm asking $25 or more. I'm nearly there. We're asking all of the clubs to contribute $25 or more. By the parade of Paul Harris Fellows, y'all blow me away. That is awesome. My second goal is 180 new Paul Harris Fellows this year. Not ones that have already received Paul Harris, but those of you that have Paul Harris Fellows that you can make your grandson, your granddaughter, other members of your family Paul Harris's, I would ask you to do so. My goal this year is 180. Last year we did 97. We have 82 clubs. If we just do 3 per club, that'd be 240 and some change. I'm asking you for that. The final goal is membership. Our current membership in our district is 4680. I'm asking for 4725. Your club has shared with me the goal for next year. It would be nothing less than outstanding. Of course, this is an outstanding club. Again, it is a time for you to commit and help other people to do our theme, engage Rotary, change lives. My fourth goal is to attend district conference. My commitment to you as district governor is 100 days this year. I will not work in my office. I will do things for Rotary. My asking you is for 2 days, possibly 2.5 days. That's for district conference. It's October the 27th, 28th, and 29th, I believe, of October. Thursday, they're going to play golf. They're going to shoot a little trap. They're going to do a poker run. But Friday, we will have a conference of training some of your leaders. As I heard the committee this morning, I thought I was marking down who to invite. Some of your committee chairs are awesome. They know what they're talking about. You've done it, and I will encourage some of them to come and present. But you're saying, Ken, why come? And I'm glad you asked. Far table over here, you've got a sign, if you'd hold it up. Membership. I'm asking you to come and sit in on one or two people who will share with you how to sponsor and become and get new members. This club right here does an awesome job. I like the fact they had a list of 50 people that they were making names and who they were going to contact. Thank you. The next table, DACDB. This is our online data system. This is where when I leave today, if I remember a Rotarian and I don't remember their last name or contact person, I can go on DACDB. I can type in their first name. Let's just say Dick. He was one of the first guys I met. He was trying to get me upstairs to the second floor to the committee room, and Keith was trying to take me another direction. But anyway, I can go and I can put his name in there. All of the people with that name in our district will come up. I can look for the specific club, and then I can find that man, have phone number, email, everything like that. Okay? Third table, what do we have? Someone tell me what it is. Group study exchange. In 2008, I was a group study exchange team leader to Brazil. I was blessed by going. I was a Rotarian. I was out of town when the selection was made. Actually, I was snow skiing in Colorado with 32 exchange students, and I was not able to be at where you made application or whatever. They elected me, and they called me when I was snow skiing, and they said, "You've got 2 hours to get back to pick your team." I laughed. I said, "I can't be there." They selected my team. I told my wife I did not have anything to do with taking that team to Brazil. I took 4 ladies. It was a test in many ways. Group study exchange is an awesome experience. I will share something with you today that I doubt that any of you know, and that's a challenge. In the early 1800s, Brazil had a problem. They had a very small class of wealthy people. They had like 5% were very wealthy. 95% were very poor. They said, how can we build or develop a middle class? Does anybody here in the room know how they did it? Thank you. What they did is they brainstormed and they said, you know what we do is we need to get 50,000 people from another country to move into our country and give them the opportunity. They went to Germany. They offered 50,000 Germans and their family to come to Brazil. They gave them 5 acres and an opportunity. They built a middle class. 2 years later, they went over what they did, and they said, was that good or what? They said, yes. They did it again. The second time they did 50,000 Germans, and they added some Italians. Oh, mamma mia. When I was there in 2008, it was unbelievable. You would go into some towns like New Hamburg. Where does that come from? Anyway, needless to say, they had much of their culture they had brought with them. The food, the architectural designs, their hard-working ability, and many things. Had I not been on the GSE team, I would not have learned that, nor would have you. It was a tremendous opportunity. Some other, what we got? Choices, literacy projects, dictionaries. Thank you. I'm checking my time. I have 4 minutes. It's tough. I personally do choices. Choices is where you go into a junior high and you tell 8th or 9th graders reasons why they should stay in high school. It is tremendous. You talk to them about the opportunities they have. You play games with them. It's something that you ought to consider. Karen, you need to have a program with someone who has done choices to present at this club if you have not done it already. RILA. You know RILA. You send students to RILA, Rotary Youth Leadership Award. New member orientation and retention. Y'all are doing that. I like how you cover that. Do I have a sign? Interact, Rotaract. You do that. See? How hard is it to come to this club? You're an awesome club. I appreciate the time being here with you. I wish Karen would invite me back because I have a couple of Rotary moments that'll either make you cry or laugh. Depends on which side of the table you're on. Again, I truly appreciate how you serve this community. Without you, Tulsa would not be the same. Ladies whose husbands were here, whose husbands have passed on, hey, I appreciate y'all. They are awesome people. My dad was a Rotarian. In '69, he took me to Rotary when I was in high school, and I ended up joining that club. You're awesome. Thank you for having me today. Thank you.
A book recognizing today's program will be presented to our elementary school, Celia Clinton, in your honor. It's called Tiptoe Ken. And would you please sign it? I stole that from John O'Connor. Upcoming programs. Next week, Dr. Sanjay Meshri from the Oklahoma Center for Community and Justice. And then the following week will be Stuart Solomon, President and COO of Public Service Company, and he's going to take us back in time over 100 years of PSO. And invitations to the Bellman Sustainability Awards and Global Vision Dinner are available near the badge boxes. And Hannibal's taking Roberta to the back, so when you leave, please again welcome Roberta to our club. Now before we go, our mystery Rotarian. This is a little bit of a trick. Today's special guest, our District Governor Ken Colley, is known for his passion for Rotary, no doubt. But on equal footing is his passion for fishing. He had no idea we were doing this. Thank you to your assistant. As a real estate appraiser, Ken does a lot of traveling. Most of the time he has a fishing pole in his car and has been known to pull over, take a moment to cast a line to see if anything bites in his suit. He shares this passion with his family and especially his grandson. Rotary Youth Exchange students who cross Ken's path always get a taste of fishing, many for their first and only time. Those past students frequently write addressing our district governor, "Hey, fisherman," or "Have you been fishing lately?" or "I remember when you took me fishing," and that is not a tall fish tale. Thank you again for joining us today, and thank you to your assistant for her help with this. And with that, I will close this Rotary meeting. Have a great week. See you next week.